Growing older is a gift, but thriving in your 70s and 80s? That's something rare, something remarkable. While many slow down with age, pulled back by fading energy, aching joints, or simply the weight of time itself, a few souls defy that quiet drift into decline. If you're in your 7th or 8th decade of life and still managing to do the 8 things we're about to uncover, you're not just doing well. You're extraordinary. You are living proof that aging doesn't have to mean shrinking. You are showing the world that it's possible to move through life's later chapters with strength, dignity, and spark. See, these years aren't about racing anymore. They're about grace. They're about wisdom earned, about moving slower, not because you must, but because you've learned where to linger. They're about seeing more clearly, even if the eyes dim. About speaking more gently, even when the voice grows soft. And they're about holding tight to the things that truly matter, while learning to finally release what never did. So if you find yourself checking off the signs we're about to share, pause. Take a breath. And recognize the quiet miracle of your own resilience. You are aging not with fear, but with fire. And that makes you a rare treasure in today's world. Before we begin, if this video resonates with you, please consider tapping the like button. It's a small gesture, but it helps us create more content that honors and uplifts people just like you. And if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to join our community by hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell. We release new videos filled with heartfelt insights, wisdom, and strength, just like this one. And if something in today's message touches your heart, just type yes in the comments. I read each one. And your voice matters. Now, let's dive into what truly makes you exceptional at this incredible stage of life. Because aging gracefully? That's just the beginning. You're not simply surviving, you're thriving, and lighting the way for others to do the same. Let's explore those 8 quiet signs that you are aging with strength, soul, and something extraordinary. Sign number 1, remembering the important things. Let's be honest, memory is often the first guest to slip quietly out the back door as we age. But if yours is still seated at the table, attentive and sharp, that's cause for celebration. The ability to remember life's important details, birthdays of your grandchildren, the name of your favorite childhood song, your neighbor's phone number, or even what day of the week it is, might seem small to some. But in truth, these moments of mental clarity are shining beacons in a stage of life where fog can creep in all too easily. Cognitive sharpness requires more than just a healthy brain, it's the result of a lifetime of mental engagement, emotional presence, and good habits. Perhaps you've kept your mind active through reading, puzzles, or even just deep, meaningful conversations. Maybe you've maintained social connections, taken walks in nature, or followed routines that nourish your mental state. These are all investments, and now, you're reaping the reward. A strong memory at this age is not only impressive, it's empowering. It means you can handle your schedule, manage your medications, remember your appointments, and navigate your day with confidence. It means you don't need constant reminders or a wall full of sticky notes. And that gives you something so many crave in these later years, autonomy. But beyond the practical, there's the emotional power of memory. It means you still remember the feel of your mother's hands, the day your first child was born, the song that played at your wedding, or the smell of the ocean on your favorite summer vacation. These are treasures stored not in boxes, but in the folds of your beautiful, resilient mind. So if you find yourself still able to recall the meaningful, the mundane, and everything in between, recognize that your mind is not fading. It's shining. And that's more than just good fortune. That's the result of a life well lived and a brain that's still very much alive. Sign number 2, walking without support. Heading into your 70s or 80s and still walking on your own? That's not just fortunate, it's powerful. In a world where so many seniors grow dependent on walkers, canes, or a guiding arm, the ability to walk freely, one foot in front of the other, is nothing short of a quiet miracle. It speaks to something deeper than just muscle tone. It tells a story of resilience. You see, walking is more than movement. It's the poetry of strength and balance dancing in harmony. It calls upon your legs to remain firm, your joints to stay fluid, and your nervous system to communicate like a well-tuned orchestra. That's no small feat after decades of living. Life has thrown its fair share of wear and tear, arthritis, muscle loss, nerve changes, and sometimes, painful injuries. These are real obstacles that have quietly stolen movement from countless others. But not from you. If you can still rise from a chair, stroll through the garden, take a trip to the grocery store, or even just pace slowly around the house without fear of falling or losing your footing, you are doing something incredible. You're holding on to your independence, your freedom, and perhaps even more important, your dignity. This kind of mobility also points to a healthy heart, active blood circulation, good reflexes, and an alert mind, because walking is a whole-body symphony. And every step you take without support is a quiet declaration that your body, though seasoned, still moves with grace. In your golden years, it's not about how far or how fast you walk, it's about whether you still can. So if that's you, take a moment to feel proud. You're not just staying active. You're proving that age doesn't mean surrender. It means adapting, and you're doing it beautifully. Sign number 3, cooking for yourself. In the gentle rhythm of everyday life, the clinking of pots, the slicing of vegetables, and the bubbling of a stovetop may seem ordinary, but if you're still doing it all yourself in your 70s or 80s, it's nothing short of extraordinary. Preparing your own meals isn't just a daily routine, it's a deeply complex performance that combines physical coordination, mental clarity, and emotional engagement. From standing at the counter to peeling a carrot, from measuring spices to timing a simmer, every action is a subtle test of strength, balance, memory, and awareness. And if you're still doing all of this, shopping for groceries, planning nutritious meals, handling knives safely, operating a stove with confidence, you're demonstrating a remarkable level of independence. Your hands are steady. Your senses remain alert. And your mind is agile enough to follow steps, remember ingredients, and make decisions that nourish your body. Let's not forget, cooking requires more than movement. It demands sequencing, time management, multitasking, and yes, judgment. What's fresh? What needs to be tossed? What pairs well together? When should the rice be checked? These are micro decisions, but they point to a sharp and capable mind. The kitchen, for many older adults, becomes one of the first places to retreat from. Whether due to physical pain, concerns about safety, or simply the temptation of convenience food, it's easy to hand off the responsibility to a caregiver, a microwave, or a takeout menu. But not you. If you still find joy in preparing a warm breakfast, or take pride in slicing fruit just the way you like it, or even plan simple meals that keep your body fueled, you're not just feeding yourself. You're honoring yourself. You're preserving a beautiful layer of autonomy that many lose far too early. So next time you stir a pot or roast some vegetables, take a moment to appreciate what that action truly means. You're still capable. You're still clear-minded. And you're still choosing to care for yourself in the most fundamental, loving way possible. Sign number 4, managing your own finances. Now let's talk about something most people won't notice, but it matters more than most realize: managing your own money. If you're still handling your bank accounts, paying your bills on time, keeping track of spending, and even navigating online banking with ease, you are not just financially independent. You are mentally agile, focused, and incredibly responsible. Finances may not be glamorous, but they're one of the sharpest indicators of cognitive strength. Balancing a checkbook, reviewing statements, watching for scams, transferring funds, remembering due dates, all of these actions rely on executive functioning, logic, attention to detail, and memory. In fact, one of the earliest signs of cognitive decline often shows up not in forgetting names or misplacing keys, but in struggling with numbers. Bills get missed. Budgets get confused. Simple transactions begin to feel overwhelming. That's why your ability to still handle these tasks calmly, accurately, and independently is such a big deal. Beyond the practical side, there's something empowering in knowing you're still in control of your money. You don't need to hand over your autonomy. You're not dependent on anyone else to make your financial decisions. You protect what you've earned, you make choices on how to spend it, and you keep yourself secure, not just financially, but emotionally too. In today's digital world, where apps and online logins can confuse even the tech-savvy youth, your ability to navigate them says something about your mental flexibility. Whether you use a smartphone to check your balance or a notebook to track expenses, the point is, you're still the one in charge. This kind of independence preserves dignity. It lets you say, "I've lived long, but I'm not done steering my own ship." It's a quiet power. one that deserves just as much applause as physical strength or memory. So if you still manage your finances today, celebrate that. Not because it's easy, but because it's evidence of a mind still steady, still active, and still capable of protecting your future. Sign number 5, rising without using your hands. Here's a simple challenge, but don't let its simplicity fool you. Try sitting down in a chair, then stand back up, without using your hands or arms to help. Can you do it? If your answer is yes, and you can perform this movement smoothly, without strain or hesitation, you're demonstrating a remarkable combination of core strength, leg power, balance, and joint stability. This is no small accomplishment. As we age, it's not the grand physical feats that define our vitality, but the small, everyday movements we often take for granted. Standing up from a chair. Getting out of bed. Picking something up off the floor. These basic actions form the rhythm of independence. And once they become difficult, that rhythm begins to slow, sometimes in ways that are hard to reverse. Research has shown a clear link between the inability to rise from a seated position unaided and an increased risk of future disability. When you lose the strength to stand on your own, you often begin to lose control over other areas of life, from hygiene and mobility to confidence and social connection. So if you're still rising up under your own power, legs steady, posture upright, hands relaxed at your sides, you're not just strong. You're thriving. You've kept your muscle tone, your core stability, and your coordination sharp. And most importantly, your body is still cooperating with your will, not resisting it. This simple movement speaks volumes. It says that you've been taking care of your foundation, your legs, your hips, your back. It means you still have the energy to get up and go, rather than sit and wait. It means you haven't surrendered to stillness. You've chosen to remain in motion. So the next time you stand up without even thinking about it, pause for just a second. Feel the power in your legs, the firmness of your stance, the quiet pride in your chest. Because you, my friend, are still walking tall even when no one is watching. Sign number 6, reading comfortably. Now let's talk about something that often fades so gradually, we don't notice it slipping away until one day, the letters on the page blur into shadows. But if you can still sit down and read a book, a newspaper, or a restaurant menu without squinting or magnifying the text, your eyes are giving you a gift. Good eyesight, especially past the age of 70, is far from guaranteed. As the years pass, our vision naturally begins to decline. Conditions like age-related macular degeneration, cataracts, and presbyopia quietly creep in, dimming our view of the world, blurring once crisp letters, and making simple joys like reading more difficult. And yet, here you are, perhaps curled in your favorite chair with a novel, or scanning the news headlines with your morning coffee, or reading a recipe card that belonged to your mother. If you're doing any of these things without visual strain or mechanical aids, you're experiencing something rare. Something precious. Good vision at this age doesn't just allow you to read. It helps you remain connected intellectually, emotionally, and socially. It allows you to follow the thread of a story, explore new ideas, stay informed, and even engage in hobbies that require attention to detail, sewing, painting, writing letters, or solving puzzles. Your eyes are not just working. They're alive. They're still pulling in light and color, shape and meaning. And that, in turn, keeps your brain sharp and your heart open to the world around you. Think about how much reading shapes your day. The instructions on a medication bottle. A grandchild's birthday card. A note from an old friend. The words may be simple, but the ability to read them, to truly see them, is profound. In a time when so many rely on magnifiers or audio devices to engage with the written word, your natural ability to read is something to celebrate. It shows not only that your vision is holding strong, but also that your brain continues to process complex information with ease. So go ahead, read the paper, dive into that novel, enjoy the fine print. Let your eyes remind you that even in your later years, the world is still full of stories waiting to be seen. Sign number 7, fully engaging in conversations. Can you still follow a conversation, respond thoughtfully, and stay present in dialogue, all without having to say, "What did you say?" every few moments? If so, you're preserving something truly powerful. Hearing, for many, is one of those quiet losses that sneaks in over the years. You don't always notice it at first. A missed word here, a muffled sentence there. Over time, voices in crowded rooms begin to blur. People's laughter feels distant. Eventually, some stop participating altogether, not because they've lost interest, but because they simply can't keep up. But if you're still listening, really listening, catching nuance, tone, and humor in the voices around you, and if you're still responding with clarity and insight, then both your hearing and your social awareness remain remarkably intact. Good hearing is more than a physical sense. It's a gateway to belonging. It allows you to share in a friend's story, to laugh at a joke, to whisper encouragement, or simply to say, "I understand." When you can do these things without strain or confusion, you're still part of the human rhythm. You're not watching from the sidelines, you're in the dance. This ability keeps loneliness at bay. It keeps you tied to family, to friends, to moments that matter. It means you can offer comfort, express gratitude, challenge ideas, or simply sit with someone in silence, all because the thread of communication hasn't frayed. And it's not just about hearing clearly, it's about processing what's said. Staying mentally agile enough to follow a story, recall a detail, or ask a meaningful question. These are quiet superpowers. They show that your mind is still quick, your empathy still deep, and your spirit still vibrant. When you can sit across from someone, whether it's a grandchild, a neighbor, or a lifelong friend, and fully be there with them in conversation, you're not just communicating. You're building bridges. You're keeping your world expansive and warm, one word at a time. So cherish this gift. Your presence in a conversation is a balm in a world that too often talks past each other. And your ability to still listen and be heard? It may be one of the most human things you do. Sign number 8, staying curious and emotionally bright. Last but not least, perhaps the most important sign of all, are you still curious? Still asking questions, exploring ideas, and discovering the small wonders of the world? If yes, then your spirit is younger than your years could ever suggest. Aging is not just about what the body can or cannot do. It's about what the heart still longs to feel, and what the mind still hungers to learn. And when curiosity lingers, when you still find yourself eager to learn a new recipe, read about distant countries, try watercolor painting, or understand how your phone really works, that's not just impressive. That's alive. Many people, over time, allow the weight of routine or the fear of failure to close them off. They stop asking questions. They stop seeking. The world narrows, and with it, so does the soul. But not you. If you're still wondering why the sky is pink at dusk, or what book your friend is reading, or how to grow orchids on your windowsill, then you're carrying a treasure inside you. A flexible, resilient, childlike wonder that refuses to be extinguished. Paired with this curiosity is something just as rare, a positive outlook. If you can still smile at a new day, still find something to laugh about, still approach each morning not with dread but with quiet anticipation, then you're not just surviving your later years. You're enriching them. Studies have shown again and again that emotional vitality, the ability to remain hopeful, playful, grateful, correlates strongly with longevity, better immunity, and more fulfilling relationships. Optimism isn't fluff. It's medicine. And it's contagious. Your curiosity, your spark, your refusal to grow cynical, these things inspire others. They remind younger generations that aging isn't a descent, it's a different kind of ascent. One filled with perspective, with richness, with grace. So don't downplay it. Your spirit is the compass that guides everything else. Muscles may weaken. Eyes may blur. But the soul that still asks questions? The heart that still feels joy? That's eternal. Reaching even one or two of these 8 milestones in your 70s or 80s is already a powerful sign that you're living with intention, strength, and grace. It means you're still engaged with life, body, mind, and spirit in a way that many silently long for but few manage to sustain. But if you find yourself holding onto all 8 of these gifts, mobility, memory, independence, awareness, clarity, connection, curiosity, and joy, then you are something truly rare. You are not merely aging well. You are thriving. You are becoming more radiant with time, not less. In a world that often associates age with decline, you stand as quiet proof that growing older can also mean growing deeper in wisdom, in resilience, and in vitality. Your life is a beautiful contradiction to the notion that time only takes, because in your case, it has also refined. So don't dim your light. Keep standing tall. Keep asking questions. Keep showing up in conversations, in community, in the mirror each morning as someone who refuses to let numbers define the richness of their story. You are living proof that aging can be a work of art. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who deserves to be reminded of their own quiet strength. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel for more stories that honor the brilliance of growing older, one chapter at a time.